welcome back to Minecraft Storytime. This is Ziku Nakamura and...
Bella Rose.
Bella Rose? Are you gonna be Alice or Bella?
Oh, Alice Rose.
Alice Rose. We're reading, today's reading is going to be another revenge one. Shiz. Go back. There we go. Alright, so we are reading from r/ProRevenge.
My favorite section, honestly, other than malicious compliance.
Yeah, she picked it herself. So I picked a story. So here we go. The title of the story is Tried to Throw Me Under the Proverbial Bus. Ran herself over. And as follows. I was building an online training module at work that is intended to teach existing users how to work a new process. It has interactive elements, quizzes, segments to work through a few sample scenarios, etc. Now, we'd recently got a new associate director who, from what I can tell, advanced through the company by throwing other people under the bus. She gets promoted not for her own merits, but because at the end of the day, she is less mud-sticking to her than other applicants. It's uncanny to the point that there simply had to be more to it than stupid office politics. I'll get into that in a bit. So after I have the first draft of the module done, it gets sent out for the usual round of testing, and there are of course a couple things that need to be corrected. I build the module off the notes the subject matter experts leave me, and a few things inevitably get lost in translation. But this new associate director just rips it to shreds, complaining that it's completely incomprehensible, needs to go into much greater detail, asking questions about nearly every individual mouse click in the sample scenarios, and overall stating that it's impossible to follow. The thing is, this module is intended for our finance department, for people who have a background in finance and have already been trained on how to use our internal software. She is a training services associate director with a teaching background. The module isn't supposed to make sense to a former middle school social studies teacher. It's supposed to make sense to people with finance degrees. I push back and try to explaining this to her in a million different ways, but she's having none of it. So I have to go back to the subject matter experts with her. 20 pages worth of criticism. And at first they think I'm joking. I had to forward her email before they finally believed me. So for the next 2 weeks, we were going over every nuance, including readdressing everything that is covered during their 3-week classroom training. How to set up their network drives, how to set up Outlook, including things as nuanced as if you don't know how to set up your email signature, click here. I mean, really basic stuff that has nothing to do with what the module was originally supposed to teach. But I now had to include it all because our new associate director couldn't find the on switch if you stapled her finger to it. This wastes This wastes my time, the subject matter's expert's time, then time spent re-recording all the voice work. If you've done voice work in the past, you know you never get it in one take. After it's all done, I send it back out for review and approval, and the associate director simply doesn't respond. A week passes. The finance director takes an interest in why this module is almost a month overdue. I go forward to the associate director's email again, except now I can't find it. Odd seeing as how I have a hoarding problem when it comes to email. I check with one of the subject matter experts I was working with. He couldn't find it either. Turns out none of us could find it. It's gone. So I check with a friend of mine in IT who, after a little detective work, discovers that a week ago, someone did a compliance delete on the Exchange server. This basically is a seek and destroy for messages meeting certain criteria. In this case, a specific phrase she used in her email. I start digging through Outlook trying to find particular emails related to this that might be used to defend my actions, and they're all gone. Inbox, sent items, delete items, every last one of them, any email containing a particular phrase anywhere in it. This kind of thing is normally used by admins to mass delete spam or phishing emails from all users at once. Except in this case, someone apparently deleted emails that showed evidence of her awful decisions. My friend in IT can spell a juicy story a mile away and was very interested in seeing where this went. She recovered. Same. She recovered the deleted emails, and I promptly saved them to a flash drive. For the next few days, every time I had an email with this associate director's name on it, even unrelated stuff, you never know how something might fit together, I saved a copy to the flash drive. I informed the subject matter experts to do the same, and we started building our offline evidence locker. I didn't want to blow the lid on it just yet. I wanted to see if my suspicions were correct. Maybe a lifetime of watching spy movies and cop dramas had corrupted my thinking. Maybe there was another explanation. Who knows, it could happen. I'm not God, I don't know everything. I'll play defense. So after several weeks in total trying to appease this associate director's unquenchable thirst for irrelevant details, and then getting ignored for a week, she finally publishes it and sends it to the finance director to approve it so it can go live. Woo! Except the module, which was supposed to be a 30-minute online course, now contained 3 hours of content, and went down several irrelevant rabbit holes. There we go. That's the word, right? That had been deemed critical supporting information. As an analogy, imagine designing a training module to teach a nurse how to enter some CPT codes and being told you have to teach him how to read too, because he might not know what words are. That's how much BS was rammed into this thing.
Okay.
Probably from his perspective. Anyway, and the finance director of course hated it, and was surprised that such a rambling mess of module would come from me of all people. So he calls a meeting with me and the associate director on Tuesday to get some answers. And sure enough, she immediately tried to distance herself from it. Tried to paint it as she made a couple of suggestions, and I clearly went way overboard. How I must have sent her a different version that she approved and switched them afterwards. It's not even possible. It would get thrown back into draft status.
Mm-hmm.
She kept trying to talk over me as I voiced my defense, and to his credit, the finance director finally just muted her so I could speak. And boy, I did. Boy, did I. And I explained everything. I shared my screen, popped in the flash drive, opened my copies of the emails that had supposedly been deleted. Every email exchange where she complained about the material, I pushed back, and she flat out ordered me to build the module in the way I did. She abruptly left the meeting and went offline. The finance director asked if I could send him a copy of all relevant files, and as I did, I told him they might not be there later, and then explained what I had learned about someone in IT using the compliance delete. He assures me he'll look into it, and the stuff immediately hit the fan, and the associate director never logged back on. There was a massive internal audit where people from her previous departments were asked to provide statements. Leadership tried to keep it hush-hush, but you can't just keep something, that big under wraps. I don't know the specific what's and hows, but this associate director and one of the IT managers had both left the company to pursue the next stage of their careers, and we sincerely wish them the best. I don't really do the social media thing, but over the next few days, as the rumor mill did what rumor mills do, I heard their shit absolutely blew up, and it came out that the associate director and the IT manager were having an affair. Lord have mercy. Now, this all went down about a month ago, but as I wrote this post, I thought to check online court records. Both are now facing divorces filed by their respective spouses.
Good, they deserve better.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a void in my direct leadership, in IT's leadership, and the entire IT department is getting a shakedown by information security to determine if there were any other leaks. I spent some time reflecting on why this whole series of events happened, and my best guess is she wanted to make a grand entrance by spearheading this masterwork training module that covered every possible scenario and contained any and all information anyone could possibly want. Excuse me. Then, as she started to realize how wasteful, rambling, and unnecessary it was, she realized that her grand entrance would be a grand faceplant. So she tried to erase the evidence and pin all nonsense on me to save face, but inadvertently set in motion the events that would expose her little arrangement with the IT manager, taking up the butt in order to cover her butt, I guess. I never know if I should, like, cuss or freely or, like, censor myself, you know what I mean? Anywho. Well, that was pretty neat.
That seems like she could have just not.
Right?
And it would have been fine.
But, you know, people will do what they have to do to get where they need to go, I guess.
She didn't even have to do that. She could have just done her job and been fine.
Yeah. And also could have been much less of a butthead to the dude here.
Like, if she would have thrown him under the bus, it would have been fine.
Truly. It may have been fine. I remember doing a freaking, one of those stupid modules to train back when I was doing Storytime and stuff. They have this long 8-hour module of every little thing you could need to know. And their test was ridiculous. Anyway, I think it's your turn. Let's go to Bad Boyfriend Takes the Walk of Ultimate Shame.
Everyone loves a good pro-revenge when it comes to relationships. So, petty relation. Okay. From a good friend who lives in South America. Not my story, hers. This happened about 16 years ago. My friend, let's call her Maria, had been dating a guy named Oscar. And for 2.5 years or so, when she found out on the grapevine, if you live in a small town, you'll understand, that Oscar had betrayed her. He had been at a party, got a girl drunk, and slept with her. News of his actions spread as gossip does. The worst part about it, it seemed it wasn't the first time it had happened, but it had happened by a long shot. Well, Maria heard and plotted revenge, as she should. She invited him to her flat for a special afternoon fun. A special afternoon of fun with her and her friend Vanessa. Oscar could not resist that type of temptation.
Yeah, that's how you say that.
Okay.
Temptation.
Why does it sound more like the word when you say it versus when I say it?
Because it's like the P kind of goes silent in most people's pronunciation.
So he went. Picture the scene. He goes into the building where she lives and gets onto the lift to go up to the 10th floor to get to her apartment. He rings the bell. He can hear music playing from behind the door. She opens the door and he walks in, seeing both his girlfriend and her friend Maria. Seeing his girlfriend Maria and her friend Vanessa. There you are, each wearing a sexy silk lingerie. Negligee. The same thing.
Pretty sure.
Maria was holding a blindfold and tells him to wear it. He agrees. She puts it on him and tells him to strip naked.
Are we sure we can,
Hold on. I feel like this is...
You feel like this would be fine?
I feel like this is gonna...
Alright, let's do it.
Be fun. Okay. While he was busy, Vanessa put her clothes back on, walked out of the apartment, leaving a doorstop to keep the door open, and called the lift. That's the elevator for you Americans. She then walked back in, grabbed Oscar's clothes, threw them out the window. onto the car parking lot. She then left the apartment and went downstairs, ringing doorbells as she descended. Maria had been leading Oscar around the apartment, disorienting him, and then leading him out of the apartment, closed the door behind her and got in the lift alone, called him an unfaithful a-hole. Those clothes are in the parking lot before the elevator door closed. Oscar ripped off the blindfold and must have realized how screwed he was, as he had to walk down 10 flights of stairs, naked, passing laughing neighbors all the way down. He collected his clothes. Maria never saw him again. Added for clarity, Maria went on the lift alone and held it open on the ground floor. Neighbors on the 10th floor had come out to see Oscar, setting him to walk down the stairs, thereby making it worse as Vanessa was going down the stairs, alerting as many people as possible. Also, people followed him outside, so he had to get dressed with an audience. The humiliation. That sounds so bad.
TLDR.
Girl makes unfaithful boy take. Oh, okay. And that's just the title.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that was good. That was a good one.
Bad. Very good. Very good. And,
that's a good one. Her friend's a real one too. Like, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
That's a good friend.
Alright, well, I think that's all we can do for right now. So thank you all so very much for watching
Peace out.
This another episode, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.